Welcome to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over? We are on episode 34, and last episode we saw the colonization of America. Gold finally set more foot on Canada and discovered a major part of Canada. Together with sea green, grey and bronze, they all got colonies on the coast of America. When they brought a trade route map back to gold, it got sadly, of course, and Brown was able to find America and colonize Cuba. Also, the first democracy in this world was born, the country Peach. And they have a law book that also is concerned to be a very important thing in their society. And at last we saw the war against Night Blue, Cyan, Rosewood, but most importantly Dark Blue set their foot inside the territory of Night Blue, and they all got the capital at the same time. The king got killed because of that, and now it's a matter of negotiations what will happen with the land of Night Blue. We see at first Cyan indeed taking this settlement that they grabbed in the war, together with this province and this one with the two settlements. We see Rosewood take this lower province, and we see Dark Blue gain these two provinces. The three countries and even Purple stepped up to say that Night Blue were not allowed to live further along. So a new king would be stepped up, and all the things would be different from now on. All the 3 and even 4 countries, so also Purple, were busy with setting up this new country, so that Night Blue was no more. And with that we see the country Silver popping up. Night Blue is no more, a different king, and this is how Mesopotamia is looking now. Cyan got, well, extra land out of this. They are now very big, but the same goes for, of course, Rosewood and even Dark Blue. Night Blue has been defeated, and the Southern Pact, well, that is completely gone. But if we take a look a little bit more north, we all can remember why some parts of certain countries broke off, just like the two reddish country and light red, because of Cyan, well, doing genocide against the blue religion. We haven't taken a look that much on the religion map, but things did happen before. We saw Lavender play genocide in the newly acquired lands since the War of Lavender, and the blue religion got wiped out of there. Cyan is again still not very happy with that religion, and they are very against it. They don't play as much genocide as before, but some provinces do not allow people to follow that religion. We see, for example, Cyprus being banned from the blue religion. Also, this province doesn't allow it anymore. People are sent away, not killed this time around. Slowly more provinces are banned from following that religion. And also this one. But Cyan doesn't do any more, as they do feel like that the people up north close to green are very against this act. And now that this happened for the second time in their history, people are doubting what this Cyan religion actually stands for. But also now that we have this layer on, let's take a look at the religion map here in the colonized America. We see, for example, gold, of course, and gray having the gold religion fully in their territory. Brown has, of course, a brown religion, but sea green, of course, has their capital and their king following the red's religion. The brown religion and red religion are in the sea green's country very close together. They follow each other and they understand each other and, most importantly, respect one another. And the most wealthy cities here in the new acquired lands have some red religion. For example, the 2 major cities. And the outskirts do have brown religion. And the rest, of course, as well, as the most part of course, sea green has the brown religion. And if we look all the way around the world, of course Peach has the lavender religion. And let's take a look at Peach as well. As of course they deviated from plans from different countries. They didn't like what Slade was doing and what Lavender did all those years ago, and even Mint. They all want to be different, and they sort of saw that what the rules for ruling a country those were not really working in their eyes. And such, Peach knew also about provinces existing in the world. The news got from beige to lavender, of course at the time it went to mint as well, and now to slate. And slate, well, kept that idea in their head, but still wasn't really keen on it and just operated with different governors. But today, they decided to work on a new law, the province law, and that all provinces can vote for the next leader if there are new elections, and thus made this election system more valuable and more worked out. The first province was of course the capital province, a south province, a big west province, 2 north provinces, and 1 big east province. After they made these provinces, all these provinces could vote and eventually rule for a different leader. Back over to Brown in Cuba. The king of Brown demands that the colony is going to expand more in the land that they can find around here. They of course find bronze and they are not really keen on, well, being next to one another again, as these 2 countries grew far apart from each other. Do note that Brown ever had this land right here. But the Bronze King, nah, he isn't really friends with Brown. But Brown does find this land. We see Brown entering the coast of Mexico, near Merida. They come to land and decide to colonize more of it. They do stop there and go a little bit more south. And they go and land on Honduras and decide to colonize a little bit of the coast too. They stop and go even farther south and colonize a bit in Panama. This is their biggest, newest colony. But the jungles are not really interested for them as well. They go a little more east and north and decide to colonize the whole section. So 2 new settlements pop up and 2 here in Panama. And this is the first time that the Pacific Ocean is discovered on this side of the world, instead of with slate. And they are continuing the trade route in the sea. And thus the trade route has been expanded. There's also one going from Cuba to the different cities as well. The Browns do follow the whole trade route and eventually want to get back home. But when that trip has been done for 2 times, and of course time has passed very much since then, they do wonder that they can cross the ocean rather than follow the coast to the northern side of the world. They guess that they can just cross the ocean. Right? Like that. They don't really know how to do that, but they try. The boat sets sail right from this island, and they go like this. They do go a little bit more north, as they do believe that if they don't, they find red. And of course, yeah, they will. And what they do find are these islands right here. There are not many people living, but there are a few. They try to just sail further, and before anyone could act here from red, the ship has already been gone. And then we see that they cross the trade route right here with yellow and sea green. Look, this was a trade route back when Brown still owned the sea green's territory and when Blue still was here. Blue and Brown had good relationships, but when these 2 countries, well, were gone, Blue and Brown right here, the trade route still exists, and Sea Green is the only country that really still, well, traded with Yellow. The World Destroyer Alliance did not really do anything about that. Reds didn't really saw that as a bad thing, so these 2 countries did trade with one another. But the exact day when a brown ship crossed the path of the trade route with Sea Green and Yellow, there was a ship from Yellow going up to Sea Green. And just like that, we see the first pirate acts, as Yellow did recognize a different ship crossing this path. Yellow was going to attack the brown ship, as they didn't really knew at first what their plan was. We see the first real pirate act, and the yellow overwon the brown ship. The people got killed, and they indeed discovered a map. A trade route map yet again. Of, yes you guessed it, of course, America. And now that this yellow ship got the map, they returned back home and received the news to the king. The king of yellow quickly brought the news to red, and so did these two countries knew about a new world to the west, the colonized world. They of course knew about all the 5 countries that lived there. They even really got the confirmation about Greenland, because before, Greenland was only really known by these 3 countries. And now that red and yellow got the map, they were eager to do the same, but they were not going to use the trade route map, as they saw it as a threat and something that could go very wrong if they got, well, discovered by gold and grey. They wanted to do the same as what brown did, cross the Atlantic Ocean. Before, red set sail with some yellow ships as well, but red was going to lead this operation. Ships got back home from this island group, and that island group with the ship said that they found a ship passing by. And well, red figured the pieces together that was also brown back then. So they were going to do the same and make a rough path of what they actually did. They knew where these islands were lying. They knew the whole route of the trade route map from America. So they made a map, and with cartographers they set sail to find the colonized land. After sailing for very long, they indeed found land. They did find this island, but they turned around like this. Roughly, of course, closer to the coast, but you get what I mean. They did discover these islands, but also they were from brown. But then they got a little more to the southeast and found all these islands, and red was going to claim them all. They followed the island chain and eventually got on land right here, right in Venezuela. And this proved the reds right, that what they found, that what someone found all those years ago in gold was true right here. Of course, that ship never returned, so that news wasn't really received ever again. But when gold found out, they eventually let that news slide, and red, well, discovered that news, that they actually found land all those years ago, centuries ago. And they were going to colonize this land right here. There were also ships from yellow, but they were going to do a more southern trip. They roughly got on land right here and colonized it. It was a big colony for now. And so also red and yellow, they were colonizing America. Peach is the next country that we will take a look at, and they are going to expand after settling up their country some more. They discovered some more land in the northwest, in the southwest, and some in the west. Also, Pastel Orange was the next to get some land. They got all this, and that. Jade Green expanded their borders as well. Deep Wine too. And Deep Wine did one of the biggest expeditions that was ever done in their lifespan. And then Deep Wine did one last expedition here with Jade Green. You can guess, after a while some major cities started to pop up in the newer lands. Here with Jade Green too, Pastel Orange as well, and with Peach too. But after all that, and that these countries all discovered more land, there were going to be groups from further away countries as well that not just border this new land, that wanted to start new countries. There were such countries that weren't really happy anymore with some of their leaders, especially Cyan. Their leader did genocide and things before. They weren't really happy, so a big group started to venture across the lands. Cross the border of Neon Lime, cross the border of Pastel Orange, and eventually got where no one ever was. And what a better color to use than Light Cyan for this new nation. Also, people from this Neon Lime country, of course, were stuck and wanted to, well, do the same as other countries. So a large group ventured through Pastel Orange and got a little bit more south as well. The country Mustard joined the world. And there was also a group that just got in between of these countries. Of course, they don't got here as 1, 2, 3. No, they all got roughly at the same time. And so the borders were made with that in mind. And so we saw the country Violet also join this world. They were the closest country to Peach. They all made a capital city, light sign right there, Violet right there, and Mustard right there. After a while, some major cities popped up in all the countries. Not many, but a few. And so a new group of countries was born. And with that we see also Lavender making a move after a very long time. And well, they discover the borders of the new countries, and they don't really act on that. They don't invade or anything like that. They just go alongside the borders and just discover that there are many countries nearby. They go on the south of Mustard and eventually turn back home and claim all this. Also, Peach starts to get some more land, and they eventually find a new border. And they are actually surprised. They thought that the Western world was farther back, but they found Violet. And like that, we see a group of people from Peach entering Violet. And they were starting to wonder which country this was. And they wanted to speak to the leader. And they were, well, actually pretty sure that it was going to be a king that they were going to speak with. And that was indeed the case. They didn't really do that much, but the countries did, well, grow close to one another. Their border near each other grew, and these two countries were friendly to one another. But what Violet eventually figured out is that there was no king ruling Peach or a governor. No, it was just a man that, well, followed a specific book, a law book. And what Violet came to know was going to change the whole world.